Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now. Hello world, I'm Chris Pirillo, and this is the Locker Gnome Daily Report, or TLDR for short, your daily dose of tech news, gadget views, and answers that you can use. Here's a gadget view, and an answer you can use to the question, is the MacBook Air worth it? Well, I'm going to answer the question, Wicket, just give me a second. The answer, by the way, is yes, so you can consider this video my MacBook Air review. Wicket? I'll get there. Just give me a minute. I know many of you are thinking, Chris, I don't want a Mac. I want to run Windows. That's fine. You can run Windows if you want. All you need to do is install Parallels. Look at that. I'm running Windows 7 side by side with OS 10 in a virtual machine, and I can flip back to OS 10 or flip over to Windows 8 if I want. Oh, let's see here. Should I go to the desktop for Windows 8? Yeah, I'll do that. Or we can, of course, fly back to the start screen, check the news if we want, or load the photos. It's Windows 8, but it's running side by side with Windows 7, side by side with OS 10. And with Parallels, I could boot into Android, Ubuntu, Chrome OS, all on the same machine. So it's not just about buying a Mac. If you are trying to expand your horizons, you're looking past the traditional PC, you still want to run something on the Intel platform, fine, I'm with you. The MacBook Air is really an outstanding option. As I was writing down my thoughts of what makes a MacBook Air a good computer, it really wasn't so much about OS 10. It wasn't so much about the Mac. Although there are certain things about this machine that make me believe that there's really not a lot of competition for it. See how I can lift up that screen, pops right open, and I'm holding on to the base of this MacBook Air with just one hand, and I lift it with the other hand. It was just easy. The engineering that went into the MacBook Air is stellar. I mean, you have plenty of options, including an SD card slot, USB, Thunderbolt, of course, and of course power and another USB port on the other side, as well as a headphone jack and your mic. So when I talk about the MacBook Air being a good option, is it worth the price? Yes, it's stylish. It's lightweight. I wrote these notes down to make sure I hit every key point. It's sturdy. It's got a good battery life for the type of computer it is. It's competitively priced. That's key, because you would think, oh, it's a Mac. It's I can't even get through it. It's expensive. Expensive is relative. I mean, you've got a machine that could run Windows side by side with OS 10 that's rugged, extremely light, fast. What more could you want in a machine? And if you're looking for, some kind of a cheap knockoff, you're probably going to get what you pay for. You're not going to get that with the MacBook Air. If I could think of any negatives, and I wrote down like this list of notes here. The only thing I could think of that would be a negative for the value of a MacBook Air is that you can't upgrade it. Like once you get it, that's what you get. You can't upgrade the RAM, you can't upgrade the processor, you can't upgrade anything inside. But okay, that's quickly becoming the norm in this industry. I don't know what else to tell you. Solid state is the future. If you want to expand your options, you can, of course, use the SD card slot and, get a fast enough SD card. Like, let's see here, the one I'm running in my vlog camera here. It's a 400 speed, 128 gigger. So if I wanted to, add storage to the MacBook Air, that's all I would do, is just add an SD card and be good to go. So this is good, the MacBook Air, for those who travel, those who need access to multiple operating systems, and this is probably the most important, those of you who want something that will last. That is key. You buy a computer, you may hold on to it for 4, 5, 6 years. I think the MacBook Air could stand the test of time. And that's not to say that 6 years from now there won't be a better MacBook Air or a better competitor in the field, but I can't stress this enough. The value of being able to access the most popular operating systems out there just with a swipe of a few fingers, the gestures there, is key. This is not a screenshot. I'm inside of Windows 7. This is not emulation. It's a virtual machine. And then being able to pop over into Windows 8 as well. So you can have all those things at your fingertips at a relatively competitive price. So I am a fan of the MacBook Air. It is powerful enough to do most of what you might need to do in a notebook computer. And the fact that it's lightweight makes it even better for those of you who are traveling. So who, now that I've said who might want it, why you might like it, who might not want this? If you only need to surf the web and check email, the MacBook Air will be overkill. I'll tell you. It absolutely will. Because you can do that on a simple tablet computer or a super cheap computer like a Chromebook, which I've talked about and raved about as well. So this isn't about, a whole Mac versus PC argument. It's more about what you need that computer to do for you. And you're looking for a really good computer. And you know what? When you're looking for something really good, price is usually not an object because you're looking for something really good. Of course, I would try to save you money at every turn, don't get me wrong. If you want a tablet type of experience, the MacBook Air is not for you. It's not a tablet computer. So you would be disappointed. Although, I gotta tell you, the trackpad is large enough and I think would satisfy most of your needs, at least inside of Windows 8. You know, that the modern experience is optimized for touch. Sorry, I'm kind of holding this awkwardly as I'm scrolling back and forth, doing a lot of things in this video. But the touchpad or trackpad is very, very sensitive, and I think sensitive in the sense that it's going to be responsive enough for you. You're not going to be able to touch the screen, but I've long argued that in this type of computer, touching the screen or using a keyboard or a mouse or a trackpad or a touchpad is just, it's confusing to users. So if anything, I think Apple did the right thing and will continue to do the right thing by not optimizing OS X for touchscreens. That's what iOS is for. If you are fine with plastic components, as I noted before, you're not going to be happy with a MacBook Air. It's not for everybody, but I think for a lot of users out there who are looking for a quality computer that's going to allow them to interact with things that they want to interact with, that is on Windows, OS X, even Linux or Ubuntu, through Parallels. And by the way, I've got to thank Parallels for allowing me to review this and use this here in the home office. You're really going to have to stretch to find a way to be disappointed with the MacBook Air. And that wasn't the case in the beginning. You might remember when Apple first released the MacBook Air, it was overpriced and it sucked. I would say that the newer versions of the MacBook Air, whether we're talking the 11-inch, 13-inch, they're just the opposite of the original MacBook Air. They took everything that was great about the concept and have just made it better over time. And I absolutely believe that to be true. I'm not making any money if I sell one MacBook Air or 10 MacBook Airs. Trust me, Apple doesn't know who I am, which is kind of sad and unfortunate. But that still doesn't temper my excitement for telling you just how I think or what I believe the MacBook Air is, specifically to answer the question that has been asked, is the MacBook Air worth it? Is it worth the price? Is it a good computer? Yes, there's my review. It absolutely is. You may agree, you may disagree, and no matter which way you go, hopefully you like this video enough to share it with someone who's on the fence. I also have to let you know, before I do let you go, over at deals.lockergnome.com, we've posted a discount on the, I got to pull it up here, deals.lockergnome.com. I'll put the link for you in the video's description. It's a lifetime subscription for those of you who are trying to master iOS or the world of Mac. And we've also still have, at least at this point in time, and if we don't have it available by the time you look, that's okay because we have deals coming in all the time. You can subscribe to the email newsletter there. The Name Your Own Price Mac Bundle. You can get all of these utilities for, well, you name your own price, for right around $10 for $400 worth of software. And, if you want to play along, you can. Deals.lockergnome.com. So hopefully you'll subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because this is my style. This is the way I like to do things. You've probably read the specs a million other times on a million other websites. I'm giving you my perspective because that's who I am, Chris Pirillo. We'll see you later.